Hi guys! I'm super excited to share this delicious recipe with you today for the creamiest lemon cheesecake with some meringue clouds. First, you want to crush the cookies well and melt the butter and allow it to cool. Then once the butter has cooled, you can add it to your cookies or to the crushed cookies and mix it all well. Depending on the cookies that you're using, the amount of butter in the recipe can be enough or you might need to use a little more. So just mix the butter with the crushed cookies and test sort of with your hand by taking a bit and squeezing it in your hand. If the cookies that are in your hand stick together so they form this kind of a ball, then the consistency for the base is right and it's not too dry. Once your mix is perfect, you can start making the base for the cheesecake. Take about half of the crushed cookies and spread it over the bottom of your cake tin. Make sure to press it hard so that the base sticks together. Then you want to take the rest of the crushed cookies and spread them along the border of the cake tin and start pressing it against the walls. Here again, you want to press the cookie base really hard so that it forms the sides of the cheesecake. Then you just want to check that there's no loose cookie crumbs at the bottom and just press with your hand around the bottom once more so that those stick as well. Now you want to take the cake tin and place it in the fridge for the time you are making the filling. Make sure that the cream cheese that you're using for the filling and also the sour cream is at room temperature. Add your room temperature cream cheese to a large bowl and then add the lemon curd to it. The lemon curd that I'm using is a homemade lemon curd and I have linked the recipe for you here. You want the lemon curd also to be room temperature. All the ingredients for the filling should be room temperature. Now I'm adding the sugar and I will also grate a zest of 1 lemon into the filling. If you don't like the cheesecake to be too lemony, you can leave the lemon skin out. Now I'm starting to whisk all of the ingredients with a hand mixer, first on a low setting and then turning to high, and I will whisk it for about 1 minute. You want to whisk it no less than for 1 minute, because then the filling will start to get really creamy. You can see here the difference from when we started and how it looks now. After whisking for 1 minute, add 1 egg and continue whisking for another 1 minute. Then add another egg and whisk for another 1 minute. Here we are adding 2 egg yolks and we will leave the egg whites for later, so I want to store them in an airtight container and you will use them tomorrow when you will be making the meringue clouds to go on top of the cheesecake. And whisk again for 1 minute. Now we are adding the smetana or the sour cream and whisking again for a minute. So it's quite simple, you just keep on adding the ingredients one after another and whisk 1 minute after each addition. Now that I have added all the wet ingredients and they're well combined, I'm adding the flour, and make sure that you sift the flour so that you don't get any lumps in your cheesecake. And again, you know what to do. Whisk for 1 minute. Start slow here because otherwise you will have flour all over your kitchen top. So just start on low and then turn up to high once it starts to get mixed in. Also make sure to scrape the sides so that all of the ingredients are mixed in, so you don't have any dry spots there, and then when you're pouring the mix into your form, you get some of that flour in your mix. So make sure to scrape the sides as well. Now that the cream filling is ready, you can take the base out from the fridge and pour the filling into the base. For the detailed baking instructions, visit the link below in the description box. Once you've baked the cheesecake, you want to cool it as instructed in the recipe and then proceed with the next steps on the second day. So my cheesecake has been resting for a day and now I'm removing it from the baking tin. So you just want to go slow with a spatula or with a knife and release the cheesecake from the cake tin. At this point it can get a bit tricky, so I want to kind of wiggle it a little bit and it will just pop out, but just be patient so you don't break the sides. And now we are going to make the meringue that will go on top of the cheesecake. For that, add the sugar and water into a small pot and mix a little bit so that all of the sugar is covered with the water. Then transfer it to heat with a thermometer. You want to heat it to 118 Celsius degrees. In the meantime, we are going to start whisking the egg whites. Before you start making the meringue, you want to make sure that your egg whites are room temperature. So take them out of the fridge and allow them to come to room temperature before you start whisking them and before you start making the meringue. You want to start whisking the meringue around the time when your sugar syrup has reached about 50 or 60 degrees, and you want to whisk it until soft peaks form. If your soft peaks form before your syrup has reached 118 Celsius, then just stop the whisk and allow it to wait until the syrup is at the right temperature. Once the syrup has reached 118 degrees, you want to start adding it slowly from the side of the bowl. So pour it in from the side of the bowl like I'm doing here. If you pour it right on the whisk, it will go all over and it will not get into the meringue or into the egg whites. You want to keep whisking the meringue until the bowl feels cold. Then you can add the vanilla paste and continue whisking for a little, just until it has combined and just until your meringue has formed stiff peaks. So this is how you want your meringue to look once it's ready. So it needs to form stiff peaks, and then it will also look great on top of your cheesecake. I've transferred the meringue into piping bags with 2 different nozzles. You could use just one if you want, or you can just randomly spread it over your cheesecake. I wanted to use 2 nozzles because I thought that would be fun. And then just decorate your cheesecake with the meringue. Once you're ready with the meringue, you can start torching it. Here you want to start from a bigger distance, so go slow and make sure you don't burn the meringue. So just go slow, and then you can always just torch it a little more if you want to add a little color. Then if you want to make the cheesecake even more lemony, you can add some more lemon curd on top. So here I'm just piping little dots on top of the meringue with the lemon curd. As you can see, the curd has melted kind of on top. I think that was because the meringue was still warm when I was piping the curd. So you might want to wait a little bit before you start piping the lemon curd on top. But actually I didn't mind because I liked how the curd looked like little puddles on top of the meringue. And then to finish the look, decorate with some fresh mint leaves. I hope you enjoyed watching this creamy lemon cheesecake recipe, and if you did, please don't forget to leave me a like for support and subscribe for some more delicious recipes. Next week there will be another cheesecake, and that one will be an original New York cheesecake with cherries on top, and it's as yummy as this one. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye until next time.